Ayushman, welcome to India today. As an audience member, I'm really curious to know that when Anek came to you, and given the fact that it's so different from what we've seen you do in the recent past, as a subject and as a character, can you take me back in time to when the film was offered and what went through your mind?
I have a certain karmic connection with Anubhav Sinha sir, and while we were shooting for this end grade song of Article 15, we were discussing a lot of subjects. We keep on discussing a lot of subjects, and I told him about my experiences with the Northeast students in Chandigarh. Like there was one Northeast student in my theatre group, my band, and he used to tell me about the racial abuse or slurs they get to know from the mainland people. So that was really disheartening. Like my induction towards this happened when I was 18, 19, and Anubhav sir also know a lot of Northeasterners. So I think it comes with empathy. So he wrote a script and I read it, I loved it. He then also included a lot of politics of that region. So made a very, very intriguing, complex narrative. So finally it's happening.
Finally, it's happening. And growing up or during college years, did you have any friends from the Northeast, or did you ever travel to that place, or did you ever encounter what we are seeing in the film?
Yeah, of course, as I said, my friend's name was Sachidaranda Angom. We used to just fondly call him Dadu. And he used to play the guitar. And apart from that, I've been to Sikkim, Assam. I hosted India's Got Talent back in the day, and Shillong Chamber Choir was the winner.
Yes.
So I've interacted with them, visited Shillong for their very cozy, intimate concert. So it was beautiful. So I've seen Northeast from like close quarters, and I love Northeast.
Absolutely. I think I've traveled to the Northeast. I think it's beautiful. There's a different charm in the air. When you visit there, you can't describe it. You need to go there to feel that. I want to talk to you a bit about the trailer. And it's sort of gone viral in its own way. It's created a sort of conversation on social media space. Dialogue is happening between people. There are opinions, and everybody is giving one, everybody has one. There is a certain scene in the trailer which is in the car when you're driving, and there is this conversation between two people where you talk about Hindi. How does one decide you're an Indian? Is it because you're in the north? Is it because you're in the south? Given the fact that this right now has become such a big topic of conversation, what are your thoughts on what's happening right now with the language debate?
I think it's just landed this place because we shot the film a year back, and it just became topical because we have this large scene in the film which just talks about the language and the demography and different people, different kinds dwelling in one nation called India, and it was just a pertinent question in the film: what does it take to be an Indian? And I really feel that you cannot really give importance to one particular language. This is not that country because it's multilingual. Every language is important, every person is important, and we just don't talk in one language in our country. Like even in Indian cinema or generally in life, we at least include mixed three languages. Like in a film, if I'm shooting in UP, for example, I will be mixing Hindi, Urdu and Braj Bhasha or Khadi Boli. In Bombay, they mix Hindi, Urdu and Marathi or Gujarati. So I guess we don't speak language in its pure form. So we have this mishmash of three languages going on with every person. So how do you expect to just give importance to one single language? This is not that country where it could be run by just having one language.
Right. If I had to ask you the question which you both are talking about in the car sequence, which is what does it take to be an Indian? What is your definition of being an Indian? If I had to ask you, Jen.
I think more than Indian, it's about being a good human. I'm not very jingoistic as a person. Yes, I'm a proud Indian. For me, the pride comes from the diversity. What is unique about a nation? That it's multidimensional. Be it the kind of ethnicities, communities, religions, regions, different demographies. I think we are blessed that we are living in a country where that's why it's called a subcontinent. We see every kind of people, every kind of region in this country. We have a cold desert, hot desert. We have like seashore. We have Himalayas. We have everything in this one India. So every kind of people also at the same time. So I guess that's where the pride comes from, not with like my language, my religion, or my ideology. So it comes from the diversity. So that's what being Indian is for me.
Right. And I want to talk to you a bit about the fact that when you're an actor, you're so passionate about your craft. It's something that you're obsessed with. That's your area of work. when you sort of decide to maybe talk about something that is a bit political or that could go left or right.
Yeah.
And then you let the audience decide when they see the film, you make your own observation and you choose the path that you want to choose. Do you feel that actors or acting and politics is the dichotomy in a sense? There are two ways to look at it.
Yeah.
That one is it's the completely different space of work. Politics is again very black and white.
Yeah.
How do you look at it given the fact that Article 15 or for that matter even Anek sort of is in that space?
You know, the best part of Anubhav Sinha as a director is that he will give multiple opinions in the film. In the film itself, it's just not one opinion. They are two dimensions and the audience needs to choose what the right dimension is. So that's the beauty of the film like Article 15 or Anek. My character Joshua in the film, his real name is Aman in the film, but undercover cop Joshua, he has this dichotomy, conflict in his mind that should he follow the protocols of his seniors or should follow his mind or heart or should do something for the people of Northeast. So he has this dichotomy, he has this conflict. At the same time, as an artist, I believe that I should speak through my art. I am not a confrontational person. I am someone who believes that I should be talking through my art. I will not post something on social media. As a person, I'm non-confrontational, but as an artist, I'm confrontational. I'll confront with my art. That's my tool. I think people who need to speak, they need to have the knowledge of that area or whatever. As an actor, you're still learning. Your core job is to act. Your core job is to sing. If you have an opinion, of course, you're an opinion leader. People are going to take that very seriously. So if you don't have a thorough knowledge of that, just shut up. Just act. And if you want to make a film, want to say something through it, great. I believe in cinema for change, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think cinema for change, and just the fact that you mentioned, I think everything that you've done so far, your social media space is very open, very clear. You do put out stuff when you need to, whether it's a mirror selfie or whether there are 4 lines that you've written. You have a very close association with your fans or followers or people who love your work. And you're very clear in your mind, this is what I want to put. Is there pressure as an actor sometimes to sort of navigate that space of being on social media, and how do you look at it? Because like I said, is there pressure to sort of from your marketing team or I need to do this, I need to make reels, I need to sort of see what everybody else is doing? How do you look at it?
You know, I'm a very private person.
Yes.
I don't like to put my private life or myself out there on social media, but I realize that it just shows another dimension of my mind through my poetry or music, which I cannot really exploit in cinema. Of course, there are certain films, but it's a micro way of doing it because हर एक film में वो मौका नहीं मिलता है. But I like writing. I just put it out there in social media, and also because since I was a VJ back in the day, I am that relatable guy. I'm not somebody who wants to be mysterious. You know, at the same time, I don't want to be aloof from my people, from my audience. If I am the relatable guy, the guy next door that they have loved on screen, I need to be one of them. And to be one of them, I need to be on social media. So I think it's like that.
I like how you sort of woven that in. It makes a lot of sense. Though. You're a very relatable guy, and I think that is a USP. It just came naturally. When we saw you on screen, we could relate to, irrespective of the character you played. Right now, with this whole conversation with RRR and Pushpa and KGF, there is this conversation that larger than life cinema or narratives are being shown on screen. Audience is loving it. They're breaking box office records. Films that have characters that could be real. I don't want to use smaller films because I don't think smaller, bigger films exist today. But films that don't conform to that larger than life VFX, CGI spectacle might not be doing well at the box office. That conversation is going on in the trade industry. What is your take on this regional cinema? I wouldn't say South cinema because I don't want to label it. Regional cinema's interest, audience's interest, them doing so well at the box office, Bollywood films being compared to them. What is your take?
I think we should not even use regional cinema. We should just say Indian cinema. Because they're also Indian cinema, right? We can say Telugu cinema or Tamil cinema or Malayalam cinema, Hindi cinema. That's the way of putting it across. I think that's the right way. And I also feel that South cinema knows their audience. I think they know their audience because they directors, actors who are from the grassroots level, who are close to the reality, they are themselves the audience of that kind of film. They consume the film as an audience member, and if they relate to it, they go for it. And audience also, the mass I'm talking about, they don't always want the reality. They want the escape from the reality, because reality is always dark, you know, because they know what real. India is a developing country. Like there's a lot of darkness in our lives. So they want that escape. They want that guy. Okay, I also want to be like that and bash up like 10 people, because I want to do that, but I can't do it. So probably they're living their aspirations through that guy, through Pushpa or RRR, whoever, you know. So I think that's very important. We need to have that kind of cinema, so that films like Anek and Article 15, they also work. Like I also need to do a Dream Girl or a Bala or a Badhai Ho, which are like family entertainers, so that I get the courage to do films like Anek and Article 15. So I'm all for mass entertainers, and I'm glad Bulbulaya 2 it opened really well.
Yes, it has.
And it's a comeback for Hindi cinema. Of course, there was a Suryavanshi, there was a Gangubai, and now BB2 is doing well. So I think probably we were not, coincidentally, we were not connecting to the grassroots level. Now it's there, and nobody is going anywhere. Like, लोग बोलते हैं कि हिंदी सिनेमा खत्म हो गया, ऐसा नहीं होगा, ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं होगा. The films that you will like, and you'll go for it. If you're excited for a particular film and you find that film good, you'll make sure that's a super hit.
Yeah, I think as simple as that. You put it.
It's nothing to do with the language. कि हिंदी फिल्म नहीं कर रही है, तेलुगु फिल्म अच्छा कर रही है. जो फिल्म अच्छी है, connect करेगी, it'll work well.
Did you get a chance to watch any of these, the titles that you just mentioned, KGF?
I watched Pushpa. Yeah, I watched Pushpa. I did not watch any other film, but yeah, Pushpa I watched, yes.
As an audience member or as an actor, when you watch films like a Pushpa, for example, and it's so different from the few titles that you mentioned now, how do you enjoy the movie experience as an audience, or do you put your actor's hat on and think, how is this guy doing this? How is this written? How is this shot? How do you enjoy? How do you watch your movies?
Okay, probably I am not the audience for Pushpa, but at the same time, where they're coming from. They're coming from a simple grouse of a poor man who's treated not well, who's not given that respect in the society, you know. Pushpa is the son of the soil, who's not been treated well by so-called rich people. And it's a common grouse throughout the nation that poor in our country, the quality of life for them is zilch. There is no respect. Like whenever, for example, we go to Yash Raj Studio or JW Marriott, there is a Darban out there who just keeps on doing that. And out of 100, there'll be probably 2 people doing that back to that person. What does it take? Just give that person respect. And that's the common thread in the entire film. And the masses connected to that film so well that it made it into a blockbuster. They could see that guy, okay, this guy is one of us, and he's ruling the ruling class, and we can also do that. Probably we can't do that, but we can just aspire to be like that guy, you know. So it's just a small, big emotion which has connected and connected really well. And I think Allu Arjun is a great performer.
Yeah, he is. He's outstanding in that film.
Yeah.
And also what people have connected with you is your music. And I read somewhere that you really don't have the time to get in the studio, compose and write. Music comes easy to you. I don't think with any of the songs that we've sort of heard from you or we've seen you, the songs that you've written, the reason why we connected is because we could all identify with the lyrics. It felt like something that we've all gone through. You've spoken about your songwriting process in the past and how much you enjoy and love it. Will we see you back in that space? Do you have the time? Will you take time out to compose, sing, get back?
The film is, our film Anek is releasing on 27th, but on 27th onwards, I'll be shooting for Action Hero, Last Care is Left, and after that, I'll be taking out time to write songs and compose songs and give music my time, because I'll be having like a couple of months break. So I really want to do that now.
This is going to go viral for everybody who's waiting out for your music. This is fingers crossed.
I hope something magical comes out. Let's see.
No, great. And coming back to Anek, I don't want to ask you what do you think you want to achieve with the film, but just the fact that it's talking about a subject and a topic that is not often discussed. There is so much of, I also don't want to say stigma and prejudice, but there is of less information. We don't know much about Northeast, or if you talk to people on the streets, or if you go and say, okay, do you know, like in the scene, in the film, can you name the states? As simple as that. Do you know the capitals? Do you know they're different? All of that. Do you feel that this will start a conversation? Do you feel that this will bring more awareness to the region?
I think this is a great conversation starter. This is also going to be historic. For me, Anek is a historic film because it has the best representation of an actor from Northeast who's not just a character in the film. she's the leading protagonist. She's a
Yes.
protagonist in the film. Her role is at par with my role, probably better. So, you know, we've never seen this before. 70% of the cast is from Northeast. So, credit also goes to Mukesh Chabra, the casting director, and Anubhav Sinha sir, who just wrote this film like, you know, that it has to be rightly represented. I think Hindi cinema has aged well with this film because we've never done that in the past. And we have taken the back seat and let them say whatever they want to say because it's their story.
How good is she in the trailer?
Yeah.
I mean, she really catches your attention the minute she comes on screen. How was she like though? I mean, just a bit of working with her and
She's
energy.
just 21.
Wow.
Yeah, she's just 21. She's been doing modeling and she's more than 5'9", and she's got a great presence.
Did she ask you a lot of questions when you met her?
She's very bright as a person.
Okay.
You know, she's very intelligent, great opinions. And mother is a teacher, English teacher probably, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. And she comes from a good academic background.
Oh my God. I mean, I can't just...
Like a perfect representative of Northeast.
Yeah. It doesn't look like a caricature. It doesn't look like an audition that somebody had to do to play that part. You know what I mean? It just feels perfect. On that note, I think Ayushman, really excited to watch Anek, like all the films that you've brought to us in the past. And I know how closely you associate with all the films that you bring and how eager we are to watch you on screen. This one is definitely going to be different. You and Anubhav Sinha, again, I don't know if it's a mentor-muse relation that you guys have sort of found. He speaks so fondly of you whenever I meet him. And you also, you know, have a special association with him. Your final words on the film?
Final words that, of course, it's a good collaboration with Anubhav Sinha sir. And you cannot really gauge this film with a commercial lens. It is something which is different, very important, topical, and at the same time it will be an eye-opener, a revelation of sorts. Anek, watch this in cinemas on 27th of May.